All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How's everybody doing? Hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Coming to you from the bedroom tonight. I just had to share this with you guys. You guys know that I love my TikTok and my TikTok trends and love being able to bring them to you guys. Without you having to do all the doom scrolling. And this one actually kind of started out as a little bit of a joke or whatever, but it really got me thinking. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts as well. So let's check this out. And I didn't actually know where the original video came from. So this is the original video here. Let's just watch and dive into it. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Gen X is the worst generation.
I love Gen X. We all love Gen X. We all love Gen X. Okay, here's the thing. You do not seem to understand who Gen X is, okay? Gen X is boomers if they knew how to turn a document into a PDF, okay? They do not care enough. They get quiet and they get revenge. We do not summon the latchkey kids unless it is our literal only last resort, because we know we will have to pay a price. And that.
So when I saved this in my in Discord to actually show you guys, I was like, millennials will not protect Zoomers from Gen X. That is the general thing here. I couldn't find the original video, but I'm sure it's just a Zoomer, a Zoomer that looks like that, just going off. Gen X is the worst, blah, 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 blah. And then this lady obviously she's trying to help. She's trying to help.
That price is our feelings, okay? Because they will destroy them along with our kneecaps. You now have to go to the edge of the woods because that's where they like to play, is in the freaking woods. And you need to leave an offering of apology for them, okay? Here's what it's going to be. It has to be a VHS, not a DVD. That's only going to upset them. It needs to be a VHS of either The Goonies or some John Hughes movie, preferably The Breakfast Club. And you need to leave them a snack, not a healthy little freaking vegan snack. No, it has to be a snack with gluten and sugar, preferably Hostess. You will leave it there and then you will run. You will run and hope that they do not find you. This is the last time the millennials will step in and help you. What was that? What is the best movie of all time? I don't know. It's a toss-up between Labyrinth or Spaceballs.
So, obviously very funny little joke. And it made me laugh. And I was scrolling through some other some other TikToks, and as they do, trends typically come up and people try to replicate them. So we had this one that had a little bit more of a full intro, but same kind of deal. And a shout out to Nick Luchetti in the building. Welcome to the party. Yeah, these Zoomers, they don't know that Gen X has been the sleeping bear. They've been like, yeah, millennials, we had our time in the sun complaining about everything and adulting and all that stuff. And Gen X stayed quiet. Gen X didn't, they didn't love it, but they weren't saying, you damn millennials need to do it. That was the boomers. But remember that. It was the boomers. That is going to come back later. So this is another one in the same vein, but had a bunch of reactions, and it's beautiful.
Who let Gen X off the hook? Why are we talking shit about those guys?
Don't do that, sir. I don't know what game you're playing, but we do not invoke Gen X for a reason. They are the lost generation because they want to be lost. We do not need to go find them. They're perfect where they are. You know how millennials, we've seen some shit and then we talk a lot about it all the time. Gen X has seen more shit, but they don't talk.
Right. Again, with the millennials being the therapy generation and everything is, I'm neurodivergent and I'm on this and that and that. Gen X went through more and said less.
Just stare.
We all did. We did. We had a meeting. Not sure if you missed it. I don't even know if you have qualifications to be invited, but the millennials decided that we're not gonna open that can of worms. Let me tell you something about Gen X. Both my parents are Gen X. I'll make this real simple, real easy. No, because Gen X kids were brought up. I mean, they were the latchkey kids. They were the first real generation of latchkey kid. But they also didn't really have the internet. And if you wanted to hurt someone's feelings, you had to do it to their face. You had to do it to their face, right? Gen X practically invented the saying, I have time. Like, fuck around and find out how much time I have. Talk shit, get hit. That's not my generation. That was Gen X.
That was them. That was them. And there's plenty more here. And I just think it's so funny. Let's watch a couple more of these. And then it takes a little bit of a turn. And as you know, as I love with TikTok, this is all happening with over the course of a couple days. And so this is all coming together. And it morphs. It becomes just like the soft guy era drizzle thing was completely a joke. And then it kind of was like, well, I mean, there's a point here, right? And the man or the bear thing, it was kind of a joke, but then it was like, but there's kind of a point here, right? So let's watch a couple more, and then
You want to know why? Because they square up.
Here's
And
the
if you find a Gen X is not physically violent, they don't hurt faces, they hurt feelings. I was raised by a pacifist because I don't hurt faces, I hurt feelings. We don't need to wake up Gen X. They're fine. Leave them alone.
Because, sir, we will fuck you up. We fought in real life, not on the internet. We are the last generation of feral children. We didn't have safe spaces. We didn't have trigger warnings. No one was allergic to fucking gluten.
I just want you to think about that original Zoomer girl. It was like, oh, they're the worst. Gen X is the worst. Do you think she expected any of this? Do you think she expected this? She did not expect this.
Mind our own business. We are older than Google. We are not the bigger person. Leave us alone.
Oh, my poor boy. Nobody let us off the hook. They just don't want to smoke with us. We still out here fighting the boomers, raising the millennials.
Interesting. Still out here raising or fighting the boomers, raising the youngins, right? Hey, shout out to Dylan Soup in the building. Welcome to the party. Again, another thing that now we're talking about the different generations and how they're interacting with each other. Not just that how they behave, but how they interact with each other. Can we go back here a second?
The boomers, raising the millennials, putting a roof over Gen Z's head. We were raised different. We drank water from a garden hose. All our toys had lead in them. If you wanted to play with your friends, we actually had to go outside and play. If we busted our ass, we shook it off. If we wanted to watch a movie, we had to program a thing called the VCR. And God forbid you had to pause that movie and go somewhere. We had to remember exactly where it left off. We had a thing called dial-up. If we were on the internet and somebody used the phone, you got booted the fuck off. It's not that we're off the hook. We're just built different.
Hello, 51.
All along, I'm watching this and I'm like, all right, yeah, this is fun. This is cool. Go Gen Z, or excuse me, go Gen X. Get it in. Get your licks in. So it says, yep, Gen X and you millennials were the last generations that still had balls. I'll definitely say some of us in the millennials. Definitely, I'm not covering for the entire millennial generation, especially the younger ones. But it's the Zoomers that had no clue. At least the younger millennials, they knew. Shout out to Moojin1. What is going on? A Zoomer enraged the entirety of Gen X. So let's hear. I think this is the last guy from this one. And then, like I said, it takes an interesting turn. So stick with me.
1-year-old Gen X here. Thank you for your questions and acknowledging the fact that we actually exist. To answer your initial question, if you saw a bear walking around the streets or in the woods minding its own business, would you keep on walking or would you approach it to fuck around and find out?
Good sir. First and foremost,
This guy's my favorite. It's a little quiet.
Acknowledging the existence of Gen X. You see, we of course are the forgotten generation, and for the most part, everyone ignores that we exist, or they just want to leave us alone and not mess with us at all.
Come on. What just happened? Oh, man. We were right in the middle of it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Who let Gen X off the hook? Well, I don't exactly see it
Okay.
the same way as you. I don't think we're at all. I think that no one wants to mess with us. There are two main reasons for that. Number one is you're all dependent on us in one way or the other. The boomers, as they get older, get ready to retire, probably transition to Valhalla soon, they become more and more dependent on us as the days go by. They also know in great detail what kind of a monster they created, and they're not ready to stick their hand in that bear trap. The younger ones, well, you've never become independent from us, relying on us for everything from your cell phone bills to your insurance, or even sometimes the roof over your head.
True.
And why would you bite the hand that feeds you? Now, the second part, and probably the scarier part, is what we Gen X are. We are the most rabid and feral generation ever. You see, the way that we were raised, forced into this place called the outside, we were left to our own vices to learn how to survive. Because of that, we've become inventive and creative in all aspects of our lives. As far as our methodologies, some of them probably don't align with that of the Geneva Convention. And yes, we did want to live our lives just like William Wallace was, to be a farmer, to be left alone in some far-off place, but of course...
And this guy does all his videos like this, but it's just perfect. So let's just finish this one up.
Us into a battle,
and then
we will come, and we will probably
it's a little interesting.
you in methods that you don't want to experience. So, I think that answers most of your question, and I do appreciate you thinking about this.
So again, bringing up, well, thanks for at least thinking about us. But so, this is all good and fun. I'm a millennial sitting here like, ooh, this little girl's getting dunked on. She don't know what happened. And then it got a little bit different. I saw a different angle, somebody that was a little bit more serious about this. And it wasn't the last level. So check this guy out.
I'm just seeing like a bunch of weird Gen X discourse. I'm at the tail end. I'm a Gen X baby, 1979 kid, and yeah, we're horrible people. And I see there's some like really weird, cringy stuff coming from people who like, you're Gen X in number but not in spirit. Like people who are going, we've been awakened. Like that's not. We're awful, and we're not going to do anything. That's the other thing. All this like. Let's assemble. Let's get together. That's not going to happen. We're
not going to get together. We're not going to do anything. I saw this one, and I thought originally that this guy's just kind of being, the poo-poo. Oh, I'm going to be the contrarian. No, we're not going to blah, 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 blah. But then I get to thinking about it, and it's like, well, wait a minute. That is kind of Gen X. That is kind of, not to throw shade. I'm with y'all. It's millennials and Gen X versus the Zoomers right now, for sure. But there are some areas where it's like, Gen X, you were supposed to do the thing and you didn't do the thing. Why is our entire Congress still, 90% boomers? This is when I got starting to thinking, you know what? Maybe this is a little bit deeper than I thought.
We're just not gonna do it. We're not gonna organize to make the world a better place. We are purely concerned with whatever little patch of the world we've managed to iron out for ourselves.
Is he wrong?
And we're just going to try and exist in it quietly for as long as possible. I know some weirdo with a nose ring was like, I think we can't agree. Gen X are the worst. And I'm like, yeah, we fucking are the worst. We watched our hero Kurt Cobain blow his head off with a shotgun at the height of his fame. This was back before not just anyone could be famous. It was literally a rare and precious thing. This guy blew his head off. We went from records to cassette tapes to CDs to Laserdiscs to DVDs to LimeWire. We understand that things are not permanent. So
we understand that things are not permanent. So maybe there's a reason. There's a reason that Gen X didn't do anything. That's everything was so in flux for their entire lives that, well, what's the point in giving an ish about anything? I'm like, oh damn, this is like a thing. This is an interesting thing happening.
If anyone comes along and goes, this is the way the world is now. You've got to do things this way because we said so. We're like, okay, we'll fucking see. We'll see. Come back to us in a few years and see if you still feel that way. Because we just don't care. We're horrible people. Nothing.
It's not me. It's not me saying it. He's a Gen Xer. It looks like we're not the don't give a F generation for no reason.
Matters to us, but our friends and our family. And we will lie to you because we had to deal with things face to face. So when you say to us, this is the way I want it to be, and I want you to accept this because it makes me feel better, we go, oh, okay, sure. But in our heads, we're going, you're a fucking lunatic. But we don't say it out loud because we used to.
Why don't you say it out loud? That's what we needed you to do the last 10 years. This is why it was such a jarring change from when the Gen Xers were just going along, doing whatever. And then millennials were in school and were like, hey, yo, F this, and went crazy. And yes, the millennials went too crazy. We went too crazy. It wasn't me personally, but I'll take the L for my generation. We went too crazy. But where were y'all? Where were y'all, Gen X?
Get punched in the face for doing it. So I don't know what all this like Gen X assemble stuff is, because we all know we're not going to do it. We all know that tomorrow we're all just going to get back to fucking smoking a bit of weed first thing in the morning and generally being useless pieces of garbage to everyone.
And again, fair enough. As millennials who have our own issues of our generation, and, even the Zoomers who don't think that working is a thing that you should have to do, I get it. We're all a product of our circumstances. But now, when we go back to what's her face, the original girl, who when we go back to this girl, who was not happy.
Gen X is the worst generation.
I love.
So again, I don't know where the original one is, but starting to take shape a little bit. Starting to take shape a little bit. So let's finish this one out, and then there's one more that really took this home, and I was like, yep, we got to do this. We got to do this.
Want to accept our children. Anyway, that's that. That's my whole thing. I don't even post on TikTok very much. Like, I'm trying to be a stand-up comedian, but I can't even. But that's too hard.
So we get this guy's point, but it wasn't until I saw this. Where are we? It wasn't until I saw this guy. And I'm telling you, like I said, it started out as a joke. Well, I mean, I'm sure that girl wasn't joking, but all the millennials responding to the initial Zoomer being like, girl, you don't know what you're doing. That was obviously everybody's just having fun. And then that whole long compilation of Gen Xers, obviously they're not angry. But they're, given into the, I just read it right now. I can't see it. It's this small on my laptop. But again, hear him out.
All right, somebody got to say it. I'll be the one to fucking say it. My hands up. As a Zennial, as an 83 baby, as the line between the Gen Xers, the sleeping bears, the angry generation. Y'all, Gen X, wake
up. I'm 89, so I'm a little younger than this guy, but I'm right in that kind of crossover, especially having an older brother and following up. I'm right in that crossover space as well.
Gen Xers, the sleeping bears, the angry generation. Y'all, Gen X, wake up. Y'all ain't shit.
Hear him out.
I've had a bone to pick with you motherfuckers since y'all started running away because you couldn't deal with the problems at home.
I did not know that this is something that I felt until I heard this man say this. But he is on point. Shout out to Bella Deanne in the building. Welcome to the party. Said latchkey kids are a different breed. Totally independent. Had to be. And we walk everywhere with no supervision or play. No supervision at play or at home. There you go. And so, yeah, I'm totally with you guys that I understand the circumstances of like what the last guy was saying, that, we just, everything was changing and we don't know what is what. And so we just, created a little plot of the world for us. And we tend to that. Like, fair. I get that. But when you start hearing what, shout out to 89, when you start hearing what this man is saying, and he's not whining like that other girl. He's laying out points here. And it started to make me think. I'm like, damn, I did not realize that I felt this way. I did feel this way, specifically about my brother, specifically within my household, but maybe as an analog to the larger way that society played out once the boomers, were being boomers.
Okay. I've had a bone to pick with you motherfuckers since y'all started running away because you couldn't deal with the problems at home. Yeah, y'all are the runaway generation. Y'all the motherfuckers who ran away from the house because you couldn't take mom and dad. Y'all stayed to yourself, your Ferris Bueller's, your Breakfast Clubs. You didn't do shit. You didn't change shit. You didn't fight from shit. You ran. And you hid. And you're the lost generation because you didn't do shit. You just accepted it.
Tell me if he's wrong. Tell me if he's wrong. You're the lost generation because you didn't do shit. What have you done? We're not talking about individual Gen Xers. Obviously, the people who are holding up this shattering house of cards that is because of the boomers. The people who are keeping that together right now are mainly Gen X people. Let's not get that twisted. But the rest of y'all, why aren't you in office? Why don't you have a business where millennials can work, and it's not the same boomer corporate stuff that's been here for the last 40 years? What have y'all been doing?
And fight from shit. You ran. And you hid. And you're the lost generation because you didn't do shit. You just accepted it. You became the 9-to-5 worker. You didn't become the revolutionaries.
Nope.
You didn't do shit. You left millennials holding the fucking bag. You left
yep. You left millennials helping holding the bag. And that's real. That is why. That is real. That is why when millennials were in college, there was so much to complain about. Even if they did it in some of the worst ways and started some of these tactics that we're still seeing. Maybe there's a reason. The same reason that, Bella was talking about why the latchkey kids are different. Maybe there's a reason the millennials are different. Maybe there's a reason that Zoomers are so mad. No, he's kind of he's straight up in the agenda, but he's making a point, so let him have it.
You didn't become the revolutionaries. You didn't do shit. You left millennials holding the fucking bag. You left Zennials having to be older brothers when we were younger brothers and the middle children of history.
Bro, I've talked to you guys specifically. What did he say? We had to be older brothers when we were younger brothers. Now, when I say this is more kind of about my own home and my own brother and my own family than it is about about society, it is, but it also fits. But I've talked to you guys before about how we didn't have a super close family, and I have an older brother and a younger sister, and my dad worked a lot, so it was mostly my mom at home. When we were younger, me and my brother would play and do this, that, whatever, play sports and whatever. And then he went off to college. And never turned back, leaving me and my sister at home, knowing that it wasn't a happy place, knowing he was getting out, never turned around, and said, hey, if you need a break, I'm here. Guess what I did when I went to college? Even though my sister was a popular kid and didn't need it, I told her, hey, look, I sat her down. I'm like, look, I understand. Hey, Matt, he left us here. I'm going off to college, but I'm always a phone call away. I will always be here. If there's anything, if it gets too crazy at this house, as I know it does, then you can call me. So when he says, you made millennials be older brothers when we were supposed to be younger brothers, that hit home. That hit home for me.
Holding the fucking bag. You left Zennials having to be older brothers when we were younger brothers and the middle children of history. Gen X, what do you do? Who the fuck is supposed to be afraid of you? Because if there's a line, if you want to get to pink hair girl, you're going to have to fucking walk through people like me. And I have had beef with you fucking bastards longer than you fucking think. If you really think I'm going to let you get to my younger brother before you have to go through me?
No, obviously, bro, relax. It's a TikTok trend. All right, relax. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
After you little chicken shits ran from what we had to fucking go through, we had to deal with the boomers, not you. That's why the fucking millennials and Gen Z have the fucking fire to burn this bitch down, because they're our kids.
Oof. They're y'all's kids. Nick said no excuses. But when we did speak up, we were called racist, sexist, homophobes, and everything else that we weren't. I think too many said screw it. I consider politics around 8th grade. Yeah, I completely see that. And again, bring it back to me, like it's frustrating that me and my brother, we're the same way. He used to be, he was the anti-establishment, the punk, the he was a real punk. I was into punk and stuff and whatever, but always because of him. Shout out to Guns and Cafe in the building. Welcome. Yeah, well, Pink Girl hates everybody, doesn't she? Welcome to the party, brother. And yeah, but guess what? So Nick said we were called racist and sexist and homophobes and everything else that we weren't. So are we. But we stood up and instead, well, no, okay. And I get it. This is why I'm saying, like, this is a real conversation, because y'all were the first generations to have that thrown at you. And that is a reasonable thing to kind of want to just back down and shut down and say, screw it. I'm not saying that doesn't make sense. What I'm saying is that just because it makes sense for you to do that doesn't mean it doesn't make sense for Pink Hair Girl to wonder why, again, that the entirety of Congress, or again, not the entirety, most of Congress is older than their grandparents.
That's why the fucking millennials and Gen Z have the fucking fire to burn this bitch down, because they're our kids. You Gen Xers just fucking sat around and just acquiesced to a system that fucked us all. Nobody is scared of you. Either you're going to fucking get on board or you're going to get the fuck out of the way. Again. That's it.
All right, guys, relax.
You're not no Bobby Badass. You're not the 70s motherfucking movies you watch. And you're not Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Sit down, Grandpa. Gen X. The fuck out of here.
So, I mean, it is, this is why it is so interesting to me how quickly these things can evolve and change and bring out different sides of things. It was just all that happened was a girl said that Gen X is the worst generation, and all of that came down. And it helped me realize something that, like, yeah, you know what? There is a little bit of a resentment that I have to, again, that guy, way too serious. Take it down a notch. It's a TikTok trend. Like, relax. But I'm totally with you. But again, he's not making a point. And so, again, going back to what Nick is saying, about how they were treated, and what Bella was saying about why. Gen X grew up in the way that they did. No, it's, again, that guy's too serious. He's not to, F you. Chill out, bro. Chill out. But I do think that, moving forward, as we see younger millennials and Zoomers, and now that they're getting to the age, Generation Alpha, when they look at the system, and they are not happy with it, as they should justifiably be unhappy with it. I think we're all unhappy with the system. But when they look at it from their perspective, all they've ever seen is the next round of adults not really take over. And what we talk about is out of touch. These kids are voting for the same people that we were talking about 10 years ago. I mean, when was the White House Correspondents' Dinner that Obama was making fun of Trump and was like, "Oh, you'll never read my thing"? That seems like forever ago, because it was. And so it makes a lot of sense to me that there is directed anger towards Gen X in general. And of course, again, it's not individuals. And I think the other aspects of Gen X are definitely something that the younger millennials and Zoomers need to learn. Go outside, do something with your life, get over the inconveniences of your life. You're not the main character. You're not the main character of the world. But also, where were you at? Because the millennials are right, wrong, or indifferent. They were ready We were ready to fight for what we believed in. The Zoomers, they are ready to fight for what they believed in. And we've all been called racist, sexist, homophobic. Nick said in 8th grade, I was one of 3 students who were Republicans and were reading Rush Limbaugh's book. My history teacher was straight out of college, liberal retard. We have constantly have to correct. Yeah, and so again, we as millennials, we experienced that as well. I had young teachers that were super liberal, and I mean, I wasn't. You guys know that I wasn't super politically active then, but I was always, like I said, anti-establishment. My older brother was a punk. I was definitely, I was a skater my whole life, all that kind of stuff. And so, always a skeptic, always had a problem with authority, all that kind of stuff. But I was going to say before, again, I want to bring up what Nick was saying. Because before, at that time, when I was younger, my brother, like I said, my brother was that guy. He was the anti-establishment. He got in trouble for dressing as Marilyn Manson for Halloween one year, like all this kind of stuff. And then, I go to college and I'm learning stuff and I'm finally getting involved in things. You guys heard my story about, a bunch of people celebrating in the courtyard, and I had no idea why. Go inside to realize, oh, it's because the first Black president has been elected. So how far away from politics I was. Finally coming back to it and realizing, oh, politics is important. You're right, older brother. Society does suck. You're right, older brother. Authority does suck. Okay, what are we going to do about it? And by that time, okay. All right. And then nothing's going to change, bro. Oh, whatever. It's whatever. I don't. Just like, who cares? And when again, maybe this is more personal to me, and maybe I'm, expanding this more than it should be because of my own bias. But again, there's a reason that these trends become trends. And again, I think it's an interesting case to see that change. From the beginning, when we're laughing at the rainbow haired, whatever, and we go all the way back, and it's like that's different. We started. Oh wait, what? We started laughing at this girl, and now I'm saying I think she has a point, even if she doesn't know it. Even if she's wrong that Gen X is the worst generation, it's definitely the boomers. She may be wrong, but her anger is not from nowhere. So I just think it's interesting and important to notice. These are the kinds of things that when we look out at society and we look at why people are doing the things that we're doing, if we can better understand where they're coming from, even if we disagree, we will be better off. So just a short stream I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out with me. Usually I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, down in the studio with the full setup and everything. But I just wanted to come on and talk to you guys for a little bit. So check me out live tomorrow. There's so much I still have to sort out, but there's so much that's come out, but we are definitely going to have a good week. But thank you again for hanging out with me. Once again, I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. Shout out to Barton's Outdoors. And until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.